Everybody get up on the dance floor and go, and go, and go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. And go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go crazy like a dum-dum. Eastside homeboy, where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red rum. This is OOO City. All the way to the bay, hit the bass, feel me. Catch a case cause it's beating up your Chevy. Get you moving side to side, getting out sweating. Make it work it, work it, work it out. Turn the volume up loud. It's a draw crowd, make it all shout. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and I'm ready. Like a quarterback, Tom Brady. Get you all in the friends. Go, go, go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. Go, 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 go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go, go, go crazy. Go, go, go crazy. Go, go, go
What's up? What's up? What is going on, Scoop Nation? It is that time. It is time for the Scoop, and we are so glad that you have decided to come on in, chill out with us, get this good conversation, get these hot topics, this Black History news on this fine Tuesday. We've got a really, really, really good show. As you see, we got Sis sitting in on this Tuesday. Yes, ma'am. So you know this conversation is going to be lit. Last week, we had Dre, who held it down for the bros. We got Sis back in the seat today. So, you know, come on, smile.
Y'all had cake in it, Dre, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was Dre, but he did come on. He came through for the fellas, so it was a joy having him here on last week.
Absolutely.
Yes. For those of you that are new here, we want to say welcome again and tell you a little bit about how we get down. The Scoop is a very interactive show. As you see, we got the comment section popping. If you would, go ahead and hit us with some emojis down there. Give us some hearts or some thumbs up or something. Let us know you in the building. We also encourage you to shout out your city with a comment. Let us know where you are tuning in from. And of all things, please for sure hit that share button so your people know where you will be chilling out for the next little bit of time. Okay. While you're hitting that share button on your way back, I encourage you to go ahead and give us a like on our social media sites. No matter where you're looking, we want to make sure that the Scoop is available to you. So we encourage you to follow us on YouTube at The Scoop Show. Follow us on Facebook at Real Scoop Show, and you can follow us on Instagram at Scoop Radio Show. So make sure you get liked and locked in so you never miss a show. Okay. Aside from that, I want to say officially, what's up to the crew? How you doing, sis? How you doing, Candace?
I'm good. How are you this evening?
Girl, here. Happy to
we made
here and in this seat. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Making it. It's been a good week thus far. It's only Tuesday, and it's already been long, but nevertheless, it's been a good week.
Amen.
I threw that nevertheless in there before.
Right.
Later.
Yes. When, how you doing, bro? How you doing this Tuesday?
I'm doing good. I'm very happy to be here. I'm good. Yeah, I am good. How are you?
Good. I'm sleeping. It's been a very busy 2 days already. Been a very 2 days. My work week started on Sunday, so it didn't feel like Tuesday today. It's I don't know what day it is. My calendar tells me tomorrow sometime where we're working with.
I always work on Sunday, so you know.
Right, yeah. True story. I'm preaching to the choir, literally, about this particular subject.
Yeah. It's been a couple of days. Let's just say that.
But we here. We made it. We locked in, ready to rock and roll. Let's do it.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all hit that share button. Make sure, of course, like you said, you hit all of the, invite your friends, hit the share button, put all your comments in, because we have a pretty good full show tonight. And of course, since y'all see I'm by myself, fellas, I'm definitely gonna need y'all. So kick the show off tonight. What's that noise? Y'all hear noise? The hissing noise.
I don't even have my fan tonight, so I can't even say it's that. Nope.
Right,
What you hear?
no, not hissing. Okay, hissing noise. Okay, well, anyway, we're gonna go ahead. Let's go ahead and we got coming up. We have our Black History Facts with Jamaica B. Lewis, and so I'm excited, of course, to bring her on tonight. We've got a good topic tonight, so and this one is just for me, so I feel special.
Cool.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our favorite historian, our favorite librarian, our favorite person who keeps us in check and teaches us what we need to know about us.
Yes.
My good friend, Jamaica Lewis, librarian, historian extraordinaire. What's going on, ma'am? How are you today?
I'm good. Hey, everybody. How are y'all?
Good.
I'm tired, too. I am exhausted. It has already been a long week. Black History Month is a long month for me, and I'm feeling all of it.
Yeah.
Every last day of it. So, but like Winfred said, tonight's topic is just for him because he's spoiled. He's so spoiled. I have him spoiled rotten. I will take blame. Any woman out there who's about to date him, his friends, his homegirls, we spoil him. So you got to meet us, match us, or exceed us. I'm just letting you know that now. I'm just saying.
All said and done.
That's true. You go sit back, talk about some.
Candace agrees. I'm just saying.
I know.
Friends a minute. I'm just saying. You got to meet us or exceed us if it's going to work. All right. So tonight's topic. Tonight's topic, I'm actually pretty excited about it. When I first pitched it to Winfred, I was like, okay. But now I'm really pretty excited about it. I'm going to talk about 3 sites that were listed in the Green Book. The Negro Motorist Green Book, which is the full title of the publication. And I want to talk about first I want to talk about specific sites. I chose 3 cities to talk about. And then I'm going to kind of give an overview of some of these sites, the historical significance behind these, and why the vast majority of these places no longer exist. So I am super, super, super excited about this segment. So let's bring up the first one. Okay, so I'm sorry if the picture's super small, but to the left, this is a Green Book excerpt. And from this one, this has cities in Oklahoma listed. And to highlight one of the buildings in Oklahoma, I chose the building that is in the picture to the right. And that building is called the Little Page Building. It was built in 1924, and it was actually built in the area known as Deep Deuce in Oklahoma City, which was huge, especially for jazz and the music scene. It was a predominantly and historically Black area of Oklahoma City. As many of us who are from Oklahoma or Oklahoma City know, that area has been greatly gentrified and very few buildings are still standing. However, the Little Page building actually is still standing. Right now, it is home to I believe it's a radio station and like whiskey brewery. So while I'm grateful that the building is still standing, I'm not super grateful that the history of that area isn't highlighted as much as it should be. So the Little Page building was listed in this edition of the Green Book as a site where at the time it was for hotel accommodations for Black people and in the community, for travelers, for people who, just kind of wanted to get away. The Little Page Hotel, it was a Little Page Hotel at the time that it was listed in the Green Book. The hotel actually opened in 1935, which, during that time, of course, everything was segregated. And so this building was listed in the Green Book as a place where African-American tourists and travelers could come and stay without fear of racism, without fear, of their family's life. The Little Page Hotel has an amazing history. It had 25 rooms, and there were tons of Black celebrities that stayed in these rooms. And some of those celebrities were Nat King Cole, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Fats Domino, Jackie Robinson, Joe Louis, Roy Campanella. I mean, any who's who of Black celebrities who visited Oklahoma City likely stayed at the Little Page Hotel. It was somewhat in use until 1990. And then a few years later, in 1996, it was nominated to be included on the National Register of Historic Places. So it was included. It is listed on that register, which is one of the reasons that that building is still standing. But it's really just an incredible building. And reading about that history, the part of Deep Deuce of Oklahoma City as a refuge for Black Americans is just incredible. And the next site Okay, thank you. And so the next site I want to talk about, this site that is listed on the screen now. So if you look to the left, you'll see a picture. And that picture, it's from the Beaumont Barbecue restaurant that was in Dallas, Texas. The picture that's shown is from 1947. And it was actually only one of two barbecue spots in the entire state of Texas that were listed in the Green Book. And then on the right is the actual listing. I'm sorry, the picture is small, but it's a listing of the different restaurants and businesses and tourist homes that were listed in the Green Book for Texas. And keep in mind, the Green Book was published from the 1930s up until the mid 1960s. And so, this was used, circulated widely. At first, a lot of people don't know, but the Green Books were primarily printed and published in New York. New York was kind of the focus for a few years. And then the Green Book went national. People would write letters to the editors of the Green Book saying that they wanted more information about places nationwide where they could stay and be safe. And so for this one, again, as I mentioned before, this is Dallas's Beaumont Barbecue. This edition of the Green Book, I believe this is 1938, 39. Well, the Green Book edition is 1939, but the restaurant picture is from the 40s, just to clear that up. Around that time, we still have sundown towns. We still have sundown towns, places where it's not safe for Black people to be after dark. And at this time, Dallas, Beaumont, Fort Worth, all these places were pretty much sundown towns. And so if you were Black and you were traveling through Texas, like in the late 30s, you wanted to have this book with you because there just weren't a lot of places where we could go and be safe and actually eat and enjoy ourselves. If you look in the picture, they seem to be happy. They seem to be having a good time. The place is packed. They're enjoying themselves. And over the course of the years from the Green Book, from the late 30s when this was first published, this restaurant was first mentioned, up until like 1960, the Green Book entries for restaurants in Texas went from just 2 to about 20. So, I mean, some would count that as progress. I don't really count that as progress because, you know, by and large, there were still a majority of places in Texas where we couldn't go, even in the 60s, you know, to feel safe. So again, this is the Beaumont Barbecue restaurant in Texas, one of the Green Book sites. That is actually, I believe it's not still standing anymore. And Winfred, this one's for you. So as I was looking through different years and years of Green Books, I came across this entry for Chicago. And the hotel in this one is the Wedgwood Towers Hotel. And as I was researching this hotel, I hadn't heard of it before I started doing my research for this segment. And the history of this hotel is just amazing. It's really, really sad that by and large, most Green Book sites in Chicago don't exist anymore. And so as I was researching for this, it was really hard for me to try to even find pictures, to find an actual picture of a place that was listed in the Green Book back then. There is an activist in Chicago. She's a photographer, I believe, and she's been documenting Green Book sites in Chicago and whether or not they're still standing. And the one that I'm showing right now in this picture, the Wedgwood Hotel is not still standing. It's right now that space is a vacant lot. And so it's really sad that, you know, these places were bulldozed and torn down before they had a chance to be preserved, or, you know, for us to kind of glean some history from them. I think this one was at the corner, I want to say it's 64th and Woodlawn in Chicago. So for those of you from that area, you may know where that is. As of today, when I did the research, there's nothing there. There were other places in Chicago, 64th and Cottage Grove. That was the Pershing Hotel. That was listed in the Green Book from 1947 to 1967. Nothing there. 60th and King Drive. That was the Southway Hotel. It was listed in the Green Book from 1938 to 1967. Gone. Nothing there. And then 46th and King, which was the Manor House, listed in the Green Book from 1949 to 1967. Again, gone. And so it's really disheartening to know that so many of these places that were refuge sites for African Americans in this country no longer exist. That just shows the importance of making sure that we are fighting for these buildings to stay intact and fighting to keep the history of these places alive. So that pretty much concludes my segment as far as Green Book sites. Are there any questions? I'm seeing the comment. I agree, Vincent. Here in Colorado, there is a push for what they're calling the new Green Book. I'm not sure kind of what the status is. I'm actually hoping to link up with the person who is behind that. I've said for a long time, ever since I knew about the Green Book, that we needed a current version because we still have sundown towns. We still have places that are not safe for us to be at night or even in the day. If we're honest, let's just be real. Let's just be blunt. So I'm a complete advocate for a 2021 and beyond version of the Green Book. Absolutely 100%. At my library, my colleague Terry Nelson, who is a legend in the area of Black history and culture, especially of the West, she will be actually driving by the Green Book sites near our library to take pictures of what's there now, because we have some pictures from what was there during the time of the Green Book publishing. And again, gentrification has taken its toll on a lot of these places. A lot of these historically Black places are now condos and yoga studios and dog spas, when they could have been preserved historical buildings and cultural centers and education centers. So many possibilities for these buildings that, you know, are now just gone.
You know, I always wonder, I know we've got to wrap this up, but I always wonder, we have to wait until our places are considered historic before we're able to reserve them or put them in some type of protected space. I wonder what that is. I don't know if it's nonprofit, like community service type relations, but we need to be able to find whatever designation that is that sets our spaces apart in a different way. You know what I mean? I don't know what that is legally. There's got to be something that makes it so that folks aren't just able to come and say, that's no longer valued here, we need to move that. You know what I mean? Because I think so many times we just haven't covered the paperwork part of covering us. We're not strong enough in the paperwork. You know what I mean? We've got to figure out what that is to secure that space.
Well, having some kind of limited info as far as what it takes to have a site listed on the National Register of Historic Places, the paperwork is tremendous. It takes fundraising too. It takes money, because these places still have to be maintained. These places have to be taken care of. For example, in my hometown of Guthrie, there's been a push to maintain the Excelsior Library, which was the first Black library established in the state of Oklahoma. And quick story about that, the superintendent of Negro schools at the time went to a Carnegie library in Guthrie and was turned away because he was Black. This man had education. This man, like I said, he was a superintendent of Negro schools. His wife was educated. His wife was a librarian. Hey. And so when he got home and told her what happened, she put boots to the ground. They did bake sales, quilts, all that, and they paid to get this library built. And it was the only Black library in the state of Oklahoma for a long time. So as of today, that library is barely standing. It was in use until I remember being a kid going to the library. We called it the Black Library. I remember being a kid going there. By then, they didn't have books to circulate, but it was like a community center. Now it hasn't been in use in years, and the building is falling down. It takes money to preserve those kinds of places. It takes money for the filing for the registry. I mean, the filing for that can be hundreds of pages long, and it's a lot. So I'm a complete advocate. Like Stephanie said, I'm an advocate for historical preservation 100%. I also know that it can be time consuming and very daunting a task. But once a building is placed on that registry, there's so much potential that can happen with it.
Risk reward, work reward.
True.
Work the conversation. You gotta chat about it.
Therein lies the problem.
Yep.
Good stuff as always. Good stuff as always.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I'll be back next month sometime.
Absolutely. Get you some rest. Get you some rest.
I know. I'm gonna try to get some rest. Radio interview.
Listen, because I said today, I was like, wait, Black History Month is about over, but next month is Women's History, so we right back on it. So
we are, absolutely are.
Love it.
And there's, like they say, there's no rest for the weary. But I love having this platform to be able to get this information out. Your viewers are always welcome to ask questions or send me questions, potential topics they'd like for me to research and present. I would love that. I'd love any suggestions, and I do this segment for you guys. You know, I want you all to learn as much about our history as possible and to share accurate history so I don't clown you.
Listen, wait, so you'll be proud of me and I'm gonna let you go. You'll be so proud of me. Yesterday, I saw somebody on somebody's page, they put that hush puppy thing up. And I typed in that this is not accurate.
I have taught you well.
This is why we have Jamaica right here. Because I was reading the comments, they was like, this is terrible. I'm like, it's not accurate.
Yeah.
This is a lie.
They want to keep us black.
Yeah. And that's part of my frustration is a 2-second Google search will tell you the real deal. But I'll get on my soapbox about that sometime next month. But I will do an upcoming segment, a quick segment on how to spot fake news and fake Black history. I'll do that for y'all for free. But when I develop the course, it ain't gonna be for free. So just be good.
Come on.
All right, Jamaica, thank you very much for another great Black history segment. We appreciate you guys again. As she said, if you have something that you would like for her to talk about, then go ahead and y'all can, that's the only time y'all can jump in her inbox, or y'all can email me at globaldriveradio@gmail.com with the topic and
yeah, we caught that, Jamaica. We caught us this.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say
what he said.
Yeah, he blocking. He blocking. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, unless you mean her some good, then you can give, you know, if you mean her some good, then you can. But other than
that, he's protecting you from me. Trust me. You may want to take me.
See you later.
Bye.
Hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny.
We need all of this. All of
that was good stuff.
All of that information. That is really good information. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to these hot topics. We got quite a few tonight. So now
I see.
Right.
We're gonna try to get through them. So of course our hot topics are always brought to you by Bob Shamrock. Bob Shamrock is the Black-owned gas station owned by our very own Kels Johnson. Can you pull up and fill up your gas tank, but you can fill up your stomach by going in and getting you some of this good deliciousness. So if you're in the Oklahoma City area, you can go to Bob Shamrock. It's on the corner of Northwest 10th, Oklahoma City. So it's 2901 Northwest 10th in Oklahoma City. Again, 2901 Northwest 10th in Oklahoma City. Pull up and fill up Bob's Shamrock.
Every time I see that chicken, man, it's just.
Listen,
have you seen the fish? Have you seen the ad with the?
Yeah, I'd be like,
I'm sorry.
I keep forgetting it's not here in the shot, man.
Sorry.
I'm such a fish snob, and it looks so amazing.
It's just pretty.
Ken has the anointment.
Yeah,
that fish has got the anointment.
Goodness. It's gorgeous in them.
Yes, it is. Golden brown, like it's in right. I digress. Also, this is brought to you by Curvy Kitten. So y'all don't forget Curvy Kitten. Curvy Kitten, where self-reflection is perfection. Get your new jogging suit by going to curvykittens.com. This suit can be worn whether you're hanging at the house or whether you're going out for the day. So go and get yours at curvykittens with an s.com. All right, here we go. First one. I can't remember who posted this one. I don't remember who posted this one.
I think just Whitney posted this one. I think.
Yeah, it is. All right. So the first one, she did. So the first one says that one of the biggest scams ever pulled was making women think that being independent is a good thing. One of the biggest scams ever pulled was making women think that being independent was a good thing. I'm gonna start with you, Candace. Tell me, y'all both look like I'm ready. Tag me in on this one. So go ahead, sis.
That was confusing because why is it a scam? I think I took it both ways because since everybody been arguing and stuff all pandemic, I took it as the whole concept of women not needing men, that whole thing, Miss Independent, I got my own house car, stuff like that. And then I took it as a scam, I guess men taking it as offense. So I see where it provides a sense of freedom to the women, but it's offensive to the men. Independence, because now at the same time we can't run around acting like we need men so much, but then when there is independence, it's a scam. So I'm confused. Like, what do the people want? I'm not, what do the people want? Because I don't think it's a scam. I think I'm lost. I am so confused. I've been arguing ever since I was arguing with that one guy in the school. I'm just like emotionally drained.
This sucks all the energy out of
It's just like, what have I done? I don't know what you want from me. Like, that's how I felt talking to them. I'm like, will you just answer this question for me? I don't understand. I'm trying to communicate. I'm trying to be one with you, but he wore me out. So I'm
This thing ain't recovered.
So I was just like, this is the thing now?
And she gonna tag me and say, they doing that.
I'm like, and then he started another post and went at it again, and I was like, I just can't. There's no pleasing you. There's no pleasing you. I don't.
That particular person, no, there's not.
There's none. Like, there's no way right now. So I don't understand. Now I think it's a scam because I'm not filling up my gas tank. I need the garbage. I don't want to pay all the bills. So to me, if that's what women think we're supposed to be, I don't like that. It's some bull. I ain't gonna say a scam, but it's definitely some bull. But I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. So, but they don't want nobody pimping them for their money and all this other stuff. Like, what do the people want? I've been out the game too long. It's wearing me out.
Both of y'all been out the game. Go ahead, Q.
This one I don't. Yeah, I see it where it's rooted from. Like, I know the energy that this post was written in, and it was just like what Candace said. There's this back and forth that we have, and to me, it's more of a miscommunication. Right. For me, the gag is the fact that they got us. You know what I mean? Each side of this has fallen for the okie doke for the fact that we go down this rabbit hole. Independence is not a bad thing in either gender. You want a person who's able to sustain themselves without the assistance of another person. Right. So, like, independence should not be looked at the way that it is. I think the thing that's gotten independence a bad rap, similar to submission, is the fact that depending upon the mindset of the person when they set out on this independent mission, it can be very off-putting because what you're giving off is not independence, it's arrogance and a feeling of I don't need anything because I got it. That's the scam. The fact that your independence means that you can sustain individually without all the other stuff that a relationship provides. Right. So an independence is related to sustaining your life as a human person. Then there is an interdependence that we spoke about that is required for a healthy relationship, meaning I bring something, you take something, you bring something, I take, it's the vice versa that is a balance that's necessary. So the scam is this argument that I want an independent woman because I need somebody to go half on it. But then I don't want you to be too independent because I still need you to do what I say. Da, 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 da. You know what I mean? So we have, and I still need you to need me, but not too much because I only make so much. And if you need me too much, then I can't be the man that you need. And now I'm threatened because you got, like, we have to really address this conversation at all of the facets, because we're not doing that. We're picking apart the fact that a woman can now be independent and say she got it, and that be taken completely out of context, meaning I got it, so now I don't need you. That's not what women are saying when they say that. You know what I mean? Like, we can't twist it to put our feelings in a different place, because that's not what it means when we say we're independent. That's just not what that means. Now, if the woman is giving off a different aura, let's name that what it is and attribute it to what that is. And you know what I mean? But it's not her being independent. You want an independent person.
Exactly.
I don't make it make sense. I'm with Candace. Like, y'all talking, if we're talking about women versus, the men in this particular situation, they're the ones who have the most issue with independent. Like, this conversation is, what do you really want? Because you're not saying that any other post. Depending on whatever post we're on, that's not what you're talking about. Remember what we're on.
We're too needy on another post, so I'm like confused.
Exactly. This ain't the olden days. Man can't do it on that. Like,
we need to split 50-50.
What man want, what woman want to. If you love me, you don't want to work me to the bone until I die. Like, come on now. You wanna extend your life?
What
you want
so here, yeah, I agree. I think the problem is I think the problem is that we refuse to admit, we don't go to the level of saying that we do need each other. We stop because remember, we don't need each other. Remember, we want each other. We don't need. So I mean, we got to. It's like now we have all of these different layers or level of trying to figure out where we fit into one another's lives, and what's the real value of having somebody. Because if you say you're independent, the connotation is I don't need anybody for anything, and then you get to a point where you start saying, wait a second, well, hold on, I do need you for something. And then you start, because now you want to start placing demands on what I do. So it's like, but wait, if you don't need me or you independent, then you don't. So I think it boils down to what you said, Q, and that is the way we have been defining it is incorrect. And if we do get to, and I think we also have to address the fact that there are some people, specifically some ladies, who have been so hurt that they do take the position of, I don't need anybody, I'm good. So we have to address it, that is a real thing, and give people space that if that's where they are, to say, okay, that might be where you are now, but at some point something's going to happen in your life where, and maybe not, I don't know, but I would think that at some point in your life, you're going to understand the value of partnership, that you're going to understand the value of having different perspectives, that you're going to understand the value of having someone who can, see blind spots and, help you do things that you can't do and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it really boils down to the way we define it and how we use it, that sometimes we do use this as a shield to deflect the fact that we really are hurt and really haven't been able to put ourselves in a position where we're ready to be vulnerable with people again. So
we're gonna start listening to some therapists on this show. They draining.
Just have them scrolling up in the corner or something.
Yeah.
Just
type your zip code here for the nearest.
Yeah.
They're out there, local therapists right here.
Yeah.
Y'all got to pay for that. Anyway, we're gonna help.
Absolutely. Let's start advertising some therapists. Like, start putting your ads here.
Right. Next one. Here's another. This is interesting, and I know that y'all don't want. We got to touch this one. I need to touch this one. So this one says, I need to touch this one. Question for men: do you prefer natural or enhanced bodies? Question for men: do you prefer natural or enhanced bodies? Q, go ahead. I already knew it. I already told. Go ahead, Q.
So I said, yes, you gotta give them the full shebang. I'm a recap. So most of the men on this post said they prefer natural. Okay. There was a follow-up question listed in the comments. Well, if you all prefer natural so much, why are y'all elevating all of the unnatural? The Instagram models, the actresses and singers and things of that nature, who we absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, know are enhanced. And my response to Winfred when he asked that question was, Negroes love a fantasy. Okay. and they like they love. What did I say? They love. I don't have the post up. They love a fantasy. And now I got to go back to it because he made sure that I needed to come back to it. And
I said, you make sure you say this because this is.
I said, because men are fickle as hell and love a fantasy. That's what I said.
That'll preach.
When the wind blows, whatever's hot right now, whatever's that's what everybody is gonna share. They're gonna like. They're gonna make it the screensaver. They're gonna say this the real woman. This goes all that other stuff. But when you get them in the room and comparing the chicks, they're gonna tell us on every post all the time that they prefer us as our natural self. We don't need lashes. We don't need eyeshadow. We don't need makeup. We don't need beat. We don't need. Again, it don't make sense. The fickleness of it all, the fantasy of it all. That's the answer. You're welcome.
Y'all too wishy-washy.
Go ahead, Candace.
You want me to answer this?
Sure. Why do you?
You
This is like what?
You want me to say something? Okay. I was gonna walk away from this one. You gonna prefer what she got. That's what I'm gonna say. That's what you gonna prefer. If you prefer this woman, then you gonna prefer what she got.
Mm-hmm.
And the word of the Lord is blessed.
Amen.
What you're not gonna do.
So we standing all over the building.
What you're not gonna do is try to tell somebody. And see, and maybe it's me. I didn't have 3 kids, 3 C-sections. You gonna prefer what I have. And if I choose to make any enhancements, work it that other stuff, then that's what I'll do. But if this is what I prefer, then that's what you gonna prefer. I think too many men got too many men have too much say. So see, this is that whole independent, this is that whole fickle foolishness that y'all going through. Y'all got too much say so in the life of a decision or what a woman wants to do with her body, her hair, and all this other stuff. You gonna like what you get. Other than that, go find somebody else.
So Candace, you would never tell a man that you want him to lose weight.
And that's the thing is, that's fine. Yes, I will if I prefer that. So if that's who you are, then that's what I prefer. And we can work on some things together. But you ain't about to be coming around here saying, like if you want to do something different and I don't agree with it, if you want to keep your beard, if you want to do this, then that's what I'm going to get. That's who you are. That's who I'm with. Other than that, we ain't got time for this. We in a pandemic.
Yeah. Ain't nobody with who they supposed to be with at this point. Like nobody is who they originally got. Like at this point, nobody is who they originally got. We all fluffier. We all more stressed out. Everybody got attitudes. Look at this. What are you doing?
Right. I'm enhancing my face so you won't see these bags. Like, come on. You gonna get what you gonna get. Stop complaining. Stop being so picky. Stop being so I didn't take the ends off the bread. Do it yourself. Like it reminds me of kids. This is so childish to me. So you gonna prefer what I got now.
That was a word. Yeah.
So I'm just finished with it. I'm finished with it.
You said that's all you got.
That's it.
When I read this, I'm like, I prefer natural, obviously. But there are some natural things I don't prefer. And when I say I prefer natural, like I say like I don't need like a full face of makeup all the time. When I say I think like to me I think that's just my preference. Now, if I'm with you and you wear makeup, I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, it's just what you do, whatever. But if you ask me my preference, yes, would be natural. I think the reason why I wanted to touch this post is because I thought if I were with someone and if I was with someone and they were always liking and following like a dude who looks completely different from me, I'd be like, you know what I mean? Like I would feel some kind of way. Like, I mean, you could like Morris Chestnut because I mean, we kind of, I think I'm on the same level as Morris. We both dark-skinned brothers. He's a little thinner than me, but if you like Ross, I mean, I got you. But if you're out here liking Shamar Moore, we have a problem.
Yeah,
he's light.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a light-skinned brother, so we
Ended it.
it's not that you can't light-skinned brothers, you know what I mean? I'm just, but my point is, if that's all you do, then that would be I don't care if you think, Shamar Moore is a nice looking guy. I mean, that's fine. But if you're like, I think there's a difference between like admiring and gawking.
Yep.
I think there's a difference. The question I asked somebody today was, I asked, how would you feel if you went through the person who you're with their phone and like all they have is busted challenge videos of women who don't look like anything like you. And same thing, I asked the same question to men, and both sides were like, man, that would make me feel some kind of way, which is, I think, exactly what this is getting at. Is it does make you wonder if this other person really finds you as attractive as you want to be found attractive.
So let's be adults and have that conversation.
Right. Right. And that's exactly what's like. We got to have the discussion to find out why. Because again, we can have multiple preferences. It's not a big deal. I don't think it's good to have multiple preferences, but I think there's also, when you're in a relationship, there's a line of respect that you don't cross.
Absolutely.
That's not.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, all right, that wasn't so bad.
It worked.
Yeah.
What you prefer?
You prefer. This next one, Candace, actually, you posted this one. This is the right one. I think it's so small. No, that's not the wrong one. Hold on. Here we go. So it says, I'm a firm believer that nothing can be the same the second time around. Like no mended friendship or relationship will be the same the second go around. I don't care what nobody says. Even if apologies were given and we move forward and put the BS behind us, things just won't be as genuine and natural as before. You're going to look at them differently. Trust them to a certain extent, and etc. Moral of the story is this. Watch how you treat people the first time, because you don't get the same love twice. Good morning. All right, since you post this one, you can handle this one first.
Okay. I remember the post. Something that I stated on the post. I think there's 3 different levels to this. First of all, I agree-ish with this post. I think there's levels. We talked about a mistake, a disagreement, and betrayal. So I do remember those 3 words like came up on the post. So when it comes to betrayal, I agree with this post. A disagreement, I disagree with the post. A mistake, it's like a middle. It's like a middle ground with that. Yeah. So with me, I think when it comes to betrayal, though, I think that this is all facts. There's no, and then it depends on you as the person. So how do you define each thing? How do you define betrayal? How do you define disagreement? How do you define mistake? So I think it's true, even if apologies were given. What's this movie everybody talking about? Malcolm and Marie, they were arguing. But the bathtub scene was cut. That was some cuts there.
Deep cut.
Yeah. So I think it depends. Like we can argue and say you was being a bitch, we can go there. I can take that, but when you start going, he was kind of, it was some deep cuts. So sometimes in arguments, people start saying stuff you ain't never heard them say, and it's like, that's the way you felt about me. It's like your true feelings are coming out. You have people say your true feelings come out, and in a way, that's a sense of betrayal. So, these were things that you felt about me all along while pretending to be someone who's for me. So, when it comes to betrayal, I think this is the truth. Like there won't be a second time around. At least not for me, I should say.
Cute.
Yeah. This one was easy for me. I think I answered this one in like 2 sentences. Because I'm one of those people, and the part that hit me the most about this was the end. Like treat people, love them right the first time around, because you don't get it the same. I'm one of those people that when I let you in, you're like in. Like, I love you real hard. I'm going to give you all the benefits of all the doubts. I'm going to give you all the rope to do your thing. I'm going to give you all the inches versus, all the miles that you need to do what you do. So when we get to the point where it's done, I'm thinking of all of the things that have gone through how we got here. You know what I mean? There's got to be something that's gotten us here that shakes that. So to come back around, unless and now again, like Candace said, there are some levels to this. If it was mutual or something like that, okay, cool. But if it is a random thing and things are just different, I think about trigger languages, you know what I mean? And how we work, if you pushing buttons and doing things like that, that that if you love me and you're supposed to know who I am, these things are going in direct contradiction to caring for me. When we come back around the next time, like, it doesn't even have to be a betrayal or, something to that effect. But if your character shifts in a way that no longer coincides with you being my person, that come back makes me, I'm not going to give you all that you had the first time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have it in me to give that hard that second time around.
That's good.
And we can apologize. We can be cool. I can, no hard feelings or nothing like that, but you won't get full feelings again. And it does, especially if it was a wonderful, beautiful friendship and things were great and it was ace boom coon, like that doesn't just happen again. That takes nourishment. You know what I mean? And once that's been shaken, I'm all about forgiveness, but we're not gonna play like this wasn't an effed up situation. Like, we're not gonna play their game like this thing didn't happen. You know what I mean? We can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, take off the pastor hat and give us the win.
Let me be straight up.
Yeah.
Don't do 70 times 7 on that.
I don't forgive well. Mm-hmm. I don't forgive well. As a matter of fact, I'm so terrible. I'm so bad at forgiving that I keep having to preach on forgiveness because I'm that bad at it.
And I preach it to myself today, y'all.
And like crying as I'm preaching about it because I'm that bad at it. Because I don't forgive well. I don't forgive well when on any level. To be honest with you, like let me take that back. I'm good at, like, you made a mistake. If we're going to use the ones that Candace, if you make a mistake, depending on the mistake, I'm good. Even the betrayal, depending on the betrayal, but when it's one of them deep cuts,
that's Google betrayal.
When you're trying to harm me or the people who I care about.
Yeah.
As my grandmother would say, you should give your heart to God because your ass is mine.
Woo!
Hey.
Woo! We preaching today.
I just don't have it in me to trust you when you get into that space. And I'm working on it. I'm trying, but I just don't have that yet because I feel like not so much Q, even more so than I let you in, but I let you in and give you full access to anything that is me. And so I feel like when I let you into that space, you know me. Like, you know what I won't do. Like, if you know me, you know that I will cut myself before I cut you.
Yep.
I mean, so for you to ever get to a space where you do some certain things to me, then it's like you don't know me. Mm-hmm. So now I have to reevaluate the place that you really are in my life. Yep. I have to reevaluate, like, our entire history. I have to reevaluate all of that. And for me to do that means I probably have never let you beyond an associate again.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so much energy for something that should be free flowing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, our people, there's a certain level of energy I feel that we should all be willing to and eager to accept when loving each other. You know what I mean? Like, I want to put the work in to grow our friendships. You know what I mean? To see how we can be better for each other, to do things for each other. There is effort. We run from effort too when it comes to relationships, romantic and platonic.
Right.
But there is a difference in putting in equal effort, enthusiastic effort, in an effort to grow the relationship, as opposed to effort to just keep the damn thing going. You know what I mean? Like, if there's always something that can creates that confusion among you. And these types of things do that. These types of situations shake the foundations of relationships to the point where you really can't. And then that's when you get 10 years later down the line and you ask each of the friends, well, really what happened? And they're like, you shook that foundation to a point you couldn't even identify where we went wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that thing is broken now. You know, wasn't it Crystal who talked about wanting to have the same thing, but now it's a new thing? That one, I couldn't even comment on that because that was some real stuff. We're not ready to recognize the fact that we killed that thing. Now it's time to fertilize and grow something new. If it is really worth saying we're going to do it, that's dead now. We have to own that failure and say we're going to build something new in this thing. That was a word.
Now, the one time that I did experience where something that I felt was a betrayal came back, it did come back, but it came back because the persons who did it put in the work. And we're like, hey, listen, we're sorry, like, and put in the work to say, listen, we know what we did was wrong. And like you said, and to your point, it didn't, what was there never came back. It actually came back better. But because then it was like, all right, now let's work on your side. Because there were some things you did that got us like, all right, I could receive that because I see you're trying to put in the work to make whatever happen better. So I think to your point, that could take years.
Oh yeah,
like
longer than the original relationship took to create.
Yeah, so I think we have to be aware of that. So yeah, I do think we do have to be careful how we treat each other, and I think that we do have to. But I also think that if there is a tear or a break, we also have to be equally as loud and as quick to apologize and do the work to repair. That's another problem right there. Like we don't apologize as loud as we messed up. Another discussion.
I cannot stand for someone to talk crazy to my face and apologize via text message. I cannot stand for that foolishness. And one of the things I would say too is evaluate both sides. Like I mentioned, Malcolm and Marie, they were killing each other verbally. So for me, if I had to talk to, there was a situation where, a person lashed out and I went for it. So if it's like you trying to stab me, so I went for the kill. And I have to even evaluate myself. Like, man, the stuff that I said was just
right.
Yeah, we don't need to be like, I'm gonna just go ahead and end this right here because
this is dangerous.
This is dangerous. Yeah. Like, there's no need to even try. You know what? I'm sorry, yada yada. But there's no need to like the post was saying, going back to the way it was. I don't even have a desire to start from the bottom and then build up. Like it's one of those situations, where like, this was the truth. This was the truth. And in that disrespect, some truth came out. Your inner thoughts that in your anger you express. So some things, let's just go ahead and walk away, wash our hands of it. But that's you have to really decide, like you said, Q, do I really want to put in the work? Don't try to sweep it under the rug. And then you don't have the right to tell a person that they should be over it. Like you can't say you still tripping on that. You don't have the right to do that because you said something to a person. You don't know how deep that was for them. You don't know how, maybe it wasn't that deep for you, but whatever it was really deep for them. So if you desire to even restore the relationship, you're going to have to understand that they may have a little PTSD from what you said.
Yep.
They may wake up in the middle of the night and start swinging and be like, oh, I'm sorry. So you got to give them time to heal. Right. You got to get this PTSD. So, you just have to be willing to do it. Don't be that person who just sweeps stuff under the rug like you didn't cause no shit show.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. All right, let's keep it moving. Keep it moving. All right, there it is. All right, so the friend zone is self-inflicted. If you have unrequited feelings and you decide to hang in there until she changes her mind, or in the state of platonic friendship you didn't want, the fault lies solely upon you. Move around. Real Russells don't stay on. Statement is, a lot of women have been approached by several Russell Wilsons. The problem is they friend zoned them or left them on read because they thought they could change the future they chose into a Russell? They
No, they
Mhm.
wanted to change
chose-
Future into a
change
Russell.
into a Russell. Okay.
Okay, I get it.
All right. Q.
I rolled my eyes too, sis.
So no. Yes and no. I'm gonna say this. Every guy who says he's a nice guy isn't a nice guy. And we're not gonna sit here and keep reducing Russell to some corny, quiet guy who sits in the corner waiting to get chose by this girl and he's so blessed and happy to be chosen by somebody. Like, stop it. Okay. There are some women who like Future. Like, let's be real. We all go through phase. Lots of women have gone through a phase. He may not have looked like Future. He may not have presented like Future. Okay. Because now all of a sudden nobody went through the phase. Just this certain group of people went through the phase where the bad boys and this or whatever does it. Okay. But we just have to admit that we go through different stages, different phases of what interests us and what we prefer.
Absolutely.
And just because you're a self-proclaimed nice guy, that does not automatically make you attractive.
Absolutely.
Okay. You should have women tell you you're a nice guy, not just because you feel you check nice guy boxes. That does not automatically make you a nice guy. Some of the nicest guys I've ever met have been complete and total assholes. They're rude. They are very arrogant. They are very entitled. They feel that the small things should be elaborated as though you go kiss the feet and do all that other because you should be so blessed that a man of my stature wants to lower themselves to deal with you. Nice guy. But because you say it nice and your vocabulary is cool and you wear your shirts buttoned up and you got a tie and you got a nice little wardrobe, you think sis is supposed to just swoon because you're a nice guy. No, some of the hardcorest men I've ever met have been the sweetest, most provide worthy. They take care of and love children. They show up and show out on Valentine's Day without excuses. Like, so let's stop lumping folks. We want to talk about generalizations. Okay, let's stop that because Russell showed up for Ciara. That's why she chose him. He sought her out. Okay, so like, let's stop this. Like, I really hope we can stop chronicling these people's courtship and we know a quarter of amount about.
We gonna stop today, Q. We gonna stop today.
Yes, it's like, y'all don't want the nice guys. No, we don't like assholes. That's what we don't like.
Right. We don't like y'all dumbasses.
Girls does not make you a nice guy. Like, stop saying that to us. You're lying to yourself, sir. We know the truth. Stop it. Sorry, Nick. Go on, sis. He knew this was I don't even know why he went to me first.
No, because I'm feeling you on that because now y'all act like y'all been so inflicted because you've been friend zoned. Come on.
It is. It can't be inflicted. Let me come on.
Yeah, you know when she ain't feeling you.
It can be hurtful, you know.
Did you step out of your league in the area?
Friend zone before. It doesn't feel good when you've been friend zoned all the time.
But that's the thing. But the thing is, why see it as an infliction versus she ain't ready? She removed herself. That's what y'all now men do. The whole get in a relationship with somebody that they know they don't want to be with, and friend zone her. They're friend zone a woman and still and sleep with her. So if she left the message on red, good for you.
Well, that part I'm saying friend zone is her, but yeah, if she leave it on red, move on, player.
But if she friend zone you, good for you.
I think, so as someone who, first of all, would never consider myself a good guy. Let me start there. However, I got too many Future tendencies. But
people make this post got Future tendencies too when they get done.
I do think that I think that as someone who in my earlier days was friend zone all the time, it's like you do start getting this complex of wondering what's wrong. You know, but again, to your point, Candace, you're correct. That at some point you do have to say, this just ain't the right person. And I ain't hit my stride yet. But when your boy hit your stride and you figure out your target market, you in there. You gotta figure out your target market, sir. If you keep getting friends,
Right.
So
And there's a standard. If you position yourself as a person who has a standard, like I know people will automatically say he a preacher, or he a pastor. So there's a certain level of there's a certain level of reverence that you might get because of that.
Sure.
So,
the preacher.
but I'm just saying though. So the thought, like you might be interested in the thought, but if she thotty and she knows she thotty, she's not gonna, in her mind, you don't want her. So
yeah,
low key, you might want a thought, but you don't present yourself as thotty. Like you don't present yourself that way.
Right.
So,
Not
which is good.
I need a little thought.
Yes, it's good.
I need a little thought.
Think about how you project. When you think about it, think about how you present yourself. So,
absolutely.
And again, I'm not putting this on anybody else. I'm not victim shaming, because the people who say their friends don't act like victims. So I'm not victim shaming, but at the same time, how do you present yourself to the public, to the world? So sometimes, like some of these guys, I don't know them, but based on all this whining that I see, if one of my girls told me, I'd be like, girl, he still got a tit in his mouth. But that's based on how you present yourself. I don't know you, so
I think so. I think to answer the original post, I do think that there are some people who think they're Russells that are really Future, and I think you have to admit that. Like, just because like you say, you have a job or you have some money, that doesn't make you a Russell. But I do, again, like we said, I think you have to also honor the fact that there are women who just prefer Future. And if you ain't Future, you got to go with the women who like the Russells. Like, it's not, it's 7 billion people on the planet. I can promise you, it's a fine sister out there, a fine woman out there who will like you for being the Russell that you are. So.
Y'all acting like y'all know Russell so much. Sit down somewhere.
I mean,
or even Future. Because I'm sorry, Future don't look like a thug. Future does not look like a thug. Future looks like he has a crew of homeboys named Brad and Chad, and they say bro on a regular basis.
Bro.
Like when you Future, he does not look like a thug. He don't look like any of the thugs that I know.
This is music.
He hates bad boys. He says bad boy words. But there's nothing
he got all them baby mamas
about Future to me. Like,
Future doesn't strike me as a
he's not. Yeah, he's just the opposite. Like, he to me would be what the glamorous woman is to the basic chick. You know what I mean? Who's just cool showing up, being cute for the party. Future is the extra guy. You know what I mean? I think he's the big man on campus as opposed to the. But Future is not a thug. So let's stop saying that even. Like, Future is not a thug. He's just
songs. It's the music that makes
the drug songs and the multiple baby mamas and stuff like that.
But there are people who do drugs other than thugs,
right?
And have baby mama. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like, you have
to do drugs,
right? So yeah, I'm just saying. I wanted to get that out there. I was chatting with James about that earlier this week. Like, Future is not. And did y'all see his graduation picture, his high school picture? Future is nobody's thug. Like, they created this persona, and now we have typed this people that.
And he getting paid, so he all right.
Yeah,
they school kid. He better go somewhere.
Future's a smart young man with a
exactly
with a whole degree.
He one of them guys that grew up in the suburbs. But
thugs don't go to college. Let me just throw it out there.
He just made bad. He has his pecker is bad at picking. That's what that is. Okay, that's what that is.
Is it bad at picking, or is it just bad at not? Is it
getting out?
Bad?
Yeah, that's what's bad.
He just need to.
Oh baby.
All right, let's go to this. Let's jump to this main topic. But before we do that, a couple of announcements. So last week, if you guys watched the show, you saw that we have a new segment called Dear Firestarter. And so if you want to be considered to get on-air coaching with the Firestarter, you can do that. So what we need you to do is we need you to email firestarterpassion@gmail.com with an email that consists of 3 things. Number 1, what is your situation? Number 2, what have you already done with it? And number 3, how can the fire starter help you, and what are your questions about the situation? So this is on-air coaching that you can get with the fire starter here on one of her segments. So if you would like to be considered, again, email her at firestarterpassion@gmail.com and do it ASAPly, so that way she can communicate with what's necessary for you to be on the show. Also, if you are looking to advertise your product or your service, then consider advertising with us here at Global Drive Network. We have a variety of packages to fit your budget and your need. So you can email us at globaldriveradio@gmail.com or see me, and we can discuss the type of package and the budget that is necessary for your product or your service. Last but definitely not least, once again, I don't have it. If you are a part of the Little Black Book of Business, which is the Black Book, kind of like the Green Book that Jamaica talked about earlier, but a Black Book of Business for Black business owners, that we can help support your product or your service, then you need to see me at patreon.com/LBBOB. Patreon.com/LBBOB. All right, Q, take it away.
All right. So our main topic this evening is one that we want to kind of give a little backstory to. You want to go ahead and give us the meme, sir? Okay. So, question. Married 2 years. Husband's mom has been close to death since day one. She was hospitalized and doctors decided it's time to pull the plug. Husband said Saturday he asked me to support him, meaning Saturday is the day they're going to pull the plug. I asked for Friday because Saturday is my birthday and I have a hair appointment. He mad. Help. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh.
So this is the preface of this. This is the premise of the question. So we want to talk about this particular situation. What does decision making look like for couples? It's, to this degree, and even after we could tackle this mountain of a situation, we can even just talk about in day to day, because these types of situations get easier the more we work them out on small situations. So I think we should definitely talk about that, but we cannot ignore this particular question here. We got to get into this one just a little bit before we dive into the other. So I'll come back to my thoughts on this. Candace, I'm gonna go to you first. What do you think about this? Because you were audibly responsive to the breakdown of this here situation.
Sorry.
Tell me what you're thinking about.
She's a bit insensitive. Okay, so I'm gonna say it's a bit insensitive. So I noticed that she highlighted, well, I won't say highlighted, but her start to this post is his mama been dead since day one. It's pretty much that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just be straightforward because I believe that's how she's trying. I believe she's justifying why she want to go to her hair appointment, why she don't want to like move anything around. Because it's like, dude, she been dead from jump. That's kind of how I believe that's how she's saying it. I still think she's being insensitive though, because I'm pretty sure even in the midst of his mama dying, he probably thought about her birthday. I'm gonna assume he did. But considering that the man mama is about dead, I do think you could call your, depend. I have my stylist is pretty dope. I don't know, so I could move it around. Like she been my girl since we was kids, so I could move it around. I don't know her situation. I mean, is there like a party, a deposit at a place or something that you got out there? I think if he knew that, he would, I think he would be considerate of her too. But I think he has an expectation that let's switch some things around because your birthday gonna probably come next year. My mom about to die, so I think she can move. I think she can reschedule. Can she swap the thing, the hair appointment day? It sounds real shady. I'm sorry. It's insensitive. It's insensitive. Yes, it's real insensitive on this one.
Go ahead, Will.
I think.
So it's the way she worded this is part of the problem.
Mhm.
So I absolutely agree that it is insensitive to ask to move the date that you're going to pull the plug on your mom because it's because I need to get my hair done.
It's my
And it's my
birthday.
birthday. I absolutely think that's, and like you said, the whole, she been dying since we got together. Like all of that reeks of immaturity and insensitivity and, and you're over it. Like apparently mom has been sick the whole time. So you're really just over her being sick and you ready to move on with your life, which that's because it's not your mother. Of course you're going to feel that way. So all of that is the insensitivity part. Now, here is the part where I actually understand her point, because I think it was Letitia on the post that made this point, and so a couple other people that said, the reality is if you do it on her birthday, then every year on her birthday, this memory is going to come up. And I'm like, okay, I could understand not wanting your birthday every year to have the backdrop of we celebrating you, but he a little sad because he also got to remember that, man, on this day, it was the 8th of September. That was the day. Like I get that too. I just think that the way she is positioning this is the problem. And I don't know how you position it better to be like, hey, every year on my birthday, it's gonna come up. So can we not do it? But to throw in the hair, to throw in like to be what I don't think that that's the way that you want to lead in with this discussion. Like there's got to be a way to say. I mean, like I don't think
he mad. Help.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I took this. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm good.
So I noticed that this was the 4th question that she had asked in this chat. Okay. Did you notice Q4? Okay.
Yes.
And this wasn't, I took all of these things into consideration. This was a multiple question post or situation. She was talking to strangers, trying to summarize the situation and sentiment, which is why this appeared insensitive. I don't think she presented this to her husband this way. I would hope she didn't position it like boom, 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 boom. Oh, and I got a hair appointment. I honestly, even online, would have probably kept the hair appointment part out of it, because the fact that, like what you said, every year going forward, we're also going to have to share this day with the death of your mom. I wake up to my breakfast in bed, but we got to stop by the cemetery because I got to put my flowers on mama's grave. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the types of things that if, when you get married, you totally understand that you are probably going to, if your spouse's parents are still living, this is a milestone that you're going to go through with your spouse. However, you make vows to do forever with your spouse. Right. So knowing, to me, I thought it was somewhat insensitive of him to ask her to make her birthday now. This will be the celebration of his mother's death as well. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot to put on someone 2 years into a marriage. We don't even know if they had, because sis says she's been dying since day one. So she hasn't possibly even gotten to build a relationship with this mother that would make her feel compelled to say, I'm okay with celebrating mom on this day going forward and forever for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot to put on a person, while she's also been supporting this mother who's been sick and shut in and doing all of this during that time. After watching close friends go through that with their own parents, that is a lot to put on an entire family unit. So now after all of this, you now want me to continue to sacrifice my birthday, the celebration of my life, my special day. And I'm sorry, of all the days, you get to hold on to your damn birthday, okay? Like, I'm sorry. You should not be asked to sacrifice your birthday for this. So, yeah, I think the way it was posted was just because she's frustrated. Like, bruh, this is really what he's asking me right now. You know what I mean? Like, this is what's going to happen for this. And I need some help to make him understand that. So, I get, had it been any other day, a Valentine's Day or something like that, we could have moved on. But her birthday, that's never going to change. That day's not going to go anywhere.
So consider this. because when people are caught up in the moment like that, right? Uh,
Mhm.
being told, because she could have easily just died on her birthday. Let's say, doctors didn't even say pull the
Yep.
plug. Like it's time to pull. She could have easily died on her birthday too. She's near
Mhm.
death. Like, at this point, she dead. So
Yeah.
like she still could die on your birthday. But let's say in that moment he wasn't thinking, because now, I mean, if she's been practically half dead for a while now, who knows how long he's been living in denial, the influence of the family, who knows what's been going on. So now that pressure, I mean, have you ever made a decision so hasty under pressure? And I kind of feel like maybe in the moment it was like, all right, well, we'll just do it Saturday. You know what I mean? Everybody just do
Yeah.
it Saturday. Maybe not thinking about her birthday. So maybe later on at the crib, so you know what, I didn't even think about, maybe give him the benefit of
Mhm.
the doubt. Later on, he might say, you know what, I'm sorry, I didn't even think about that was your birthday. I know you got stuff going on. I know you don't want this to be attacked. Then like kind of give him maybe that space. I just think that's tough to be put under that type of pressure and decision in that moment. Who know? I don't know what his support system looks like aside from her. And like you saying, she didn't. It's clear they didn't have that kind of relationship. Um,
Mhm.
because if it was her own mother dying on her birthday, she not gonna tell the doctors, you know what, pull the plug on my mama because my
Mhm.
hair appointment is this day on my birthday. So, but like you said, I think it's all now. If this was just bae or boyfriend, okay, be selfish. That's on you. But I think when it
Mhm.
comes to a spouse, this is that sacrifice. I do agree. Nobody wants to be like, wake up in the morning looking for cake and balloons, and we got to go put graves on mama's, flowers on
Mhm.
mama's grave. I don't even do cemetery, so that would really be hard on me because I don't even go to grave sites. So I would really be like, well, we
Yeah.
gonna do brunch. Meet us there, and then you get back with the flowers. So
And my
we doing brunch
love. Mhm.
in
Mhm.
heaven in Jesus' name. But that's tough though. Like, I mean, you just can't predict really when somebody gonna die. But I guess if he has the option to pull the plug, maybe he'll calm down when they get
Yeah.
home versus the doctor putting that like heat on him at the moment. Maybe he'll calm down when he get home
Yeah.
and say, you know what, I'm sorry. Let me
Mhm.
reconsider.
Yeah. Yeah. So here, Stephanie says, I would not want her death to be on my birthday. Yeah. Deanna, excuse me, says, so I wonder if every birthday after her death would be a day of remembrance as opposed to her birthday celebration. I think it would be both. I'll say that. I think it would be both. And I think
She'd eventually get her birthday back. It'd just be a few years. It eventually will come back.
I think for the rest of the time they're together, you would remember it. You know what I mean? Like I think it was, just like when we lose a parent or something, like when it comes that on that anniversary, it's like, oh man, okay, it's a moment of sadness, and sometimes, like you said, that moment is longer, gets shorter as the time progresses for most people, but yeah, I think it would be both, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I mean, there are other things that we balance both sides of multiple emotions about days and events and places too. So
Yeah.
I used to feel sad when I would hear certain songs. Now it's like
Mhm.
I kind of like the song. I
Mhm.
see you every morning when I
Oh,
open my. I'm gonna listen to that song again. That song is not always. So you learn to live with that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
I think it was the choice for me on this one. It was the choice for me because like what Candace said, like if she just happened to die on the birthday, then that's a happenstance of life. I could not control that. But if given the option to choose, why must we choose this day for that? You know what I mean? That would be the main thing. And yeah, I would hope he would come back to his, like, I would hope at some point, even if he were to bounce it off of a homeboy, like if it didn't initially settle in, you know what I mean? Just mull this around with someone because it sounds like she's still got a couple days. This got a minute, okay? It might be Tuesday, okay? When she made the post, it might be a couple days that they can work on it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping he bounced this off of a couple people and saw it from different perspectives
Let's do
to
this
not put
Monday.
this.
I think the biggest, like for me, the biggest part of this discussion for me was was really, I think that most people don't realize that not a whole lot, but in a relationship, in a marriage, these are the types of things that you have to negotiate quite often. And so how do you negotiate these types of decisions in a marriage, in a relationship? Because like we love to talk about compromise, and let's talk about communication and how as long as we communicate, everything's going to be okay. But really, the way that you there's a way to do this, and a lot of layers that go into communicating properly to make a decision like this work out well. Because handling this the wrong way, this
go back.
This can end a marriage. Like in reality, these things in marriages. Because if she positions this the wrong way at the wrong time, using the wrong the trigger words, now she's selfish. She don't care about me. She ain't never liked my mama. She always been selfish. Like every selfish thing she never done. Now all of a sudden, everything selfish thing she ever do. Now and for her, same if he doesn't, if they don't handle it right, for her, it's you didn't think about my birthday. So for the rest of their marriage, now that's on her. So I mean, how do we navigate these types of discussions in marriage so that maybe we don't both get what we want, but that we walk away still saying we're together.
Or when the doctor said what they said, him being emotionally distraught, probably, put your hand on his leg, like, you know what, thank you, doctor, give us a moment, something like that, where it's not so, my birthday, my head, where it's not so about you. So there's a way y'all got to be, you got to know how to work your words, ladies, so it won't sound.
And fellas, and I think, and fellas, I think as a man, you have to, you're balancing this thing of I'm a husband and a son at the same time. So I know, especially if that her birthday, well, even if it's not, normally an important thing, we have, that is her birthday. How can you have to be thinking about that from multiple dimensions, which is difficult, for both sides. That's difficult to be thinking, how do I honor his mom and still not lose my birthday?
Because I got a hair appointment.
And how do I? How do I? I mean, she did put that in there, which
she did. Yeah. She did. She could have totally omitted
the hair appointment. That's what she kind of threw me off with that part.
So how do you this? Maybe not this, but how do you handle discussions in marriage where we both have something that we're to lose. We both have something, a priority. And to be honest, both of them are very important. Like her birthday is important. So how do we negotiate?
So, you mentioned communication is one of the things that we always say we need for our relationships. It's one of the things that we always say is the healthy tenet in all strong relationships is the couple has to be able to talk. Okay, great. We don't talk about the things that are uncomfortable. We need, going into a relationship, I think it's important for your spouse to know your triggers. They need to know your traumas, and they need to know your absolute hardcore, this is just what it's going to be. Okay. Now this is what it's going to be. These are not necessarily concrete things. These are the things that you need to know that if and when these things arise in our relationship, there is a strong possibility for some pushback. So we need to establish a way that when these situations arise, we can deal with them in a way that doesn't push us away from each other. Understand that my pushback is rooted in whatever makes this thing a priority for me. Because we have to understand that there's if Sis's birthday was never celebrated as a young girl, and when she became an adult and was able to provide for herself and do her thing and show out for her birthday, because damn it, I'm alive, I'm here, and now all of a sudden I'm supposed to back burner this for this, you know what I mean? So it's bigger than just it's my birthday. This is the celebration of me, and you're the man who vowed to also celebrate me, love, honor, cherish, be there, in a way, take on the things that are just as important to me. So I need you to not reduce it to just a regular old day, because it's not a regular old day. It's got something more. You know what I'm saying? So, and we have to do that same thing for our husbands as women when that comes up, because they do have deal breakers. They do have those constitutional core value type. I need you here. I need you canceling stuff. I need you hurting people's feelings because I need you here to stand up for me. You know what I mean? And you gonna get all the smoke if you got something else that's supposed to take priority over these here things. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to do that, because as humans, as individuals who go into partnerships, we still do. We don't abandon those things. We're willing to rearrange them. We're willing to give them a little wiggle room, make them a little more malleable so that everybody can join hands and sing songs. But we can't deny the fact that we come into our relationships with a very clear understanding of what's important. So you got to be able to mesh those things so that y'all don't end up fighting every time your important things don't align. Like, we got to have those tough conversations.
And when it's all said and done, the decision, like if we want to go logic or, contract wise, she comes first. According to the marital contract, the decision is on him. Forsake all others. Your wife want her hair done on her birthday. Point blank. Your mama is about to be dead. No offense. So, because I don't want to sound insensitive, but when it's all said and done, the decision is your wife still comes first. That's how you honor your marriage. That's how you honor your mother and father, by putting your wife first too. So, in my opinion, I think, in my opinion, based on forsake all others, considering that you don't want to smoke with her because mama we about to bury her anyway. So the only thing you gonna have is she gonna come see you in her dreams or whatever people say. People die. I'm right here, so you don't want that smoke, and while you grieving.
So as a wife,
while you grieving,
you don't want to grieve.
So as a wife, you would tell your husband that he's not forsaking his parents if he wants to.
I wouldn't say nothing, because to me, that's what you're doing. Like, I'm not gonna even talk about it. Probably not in this moment, but when it's all said and done, it's going to reflect. It's gonna reflect in action, because this is a decision where mama, where your brother and sister in that, where they at too. So, because I'm gonna look at the broader scope of it too. Who else is this decision on you? As my husband, is this decision on you? Where's PJ and them? And we all come together and let's come to a day. Saturday, he picked Saturday. Saturday is a very common day. It's assumed that everybody got off work, whatever. But let's come together as a family and make a decision. But when it's all said and done, you got to roll with your wife, bruh. And if you put her first, she will consider you. It's possible that she might have had this moment, and then she may come back around and say, you know what? This is what I decided to do. Vanique, my bad, that's my stylist name. She was able to swap my hair appointment. She gonna do, and we good. So I think if you show how much you value your wife in certain circumstances, this won't even be an issue. This can be like a small discussion. This won't be a disagreement. This won't be he mad help. I just don't think. I think it's all in how you roll with it. She know your mom has been dying, but she did make sense. She did say something. She been close to death since day one. So she's like, yeah, we've been expecting this. So maybe in her mind, you've been expecting this. Maybe in her mind, it shouldn't be as hard. So like I said, she does sound very insensitive in some of this. However, you married that woman. She comes first, even on your dead mama's bed. Is that not the truth? It's rough. It don't sound really good.
I would say, I would say in theory you're correct. Yes, in theory you're correct. If you honor if you have a history of honoring your wife first,
you gotta honor the contract.
And in situations like this, she is more likely to honor the fact that honor this situation. I would agree with that.
You ever phone companies? If somebody dies and they're in the contract, the phone company don't allow you to get out the contract. So that thing has to be completed. So I said all that to say is this marital contract thing that you didn't sign. Well, according to agreement, you still have to do this. I don't care who on their deathbed. That's what the contract says.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that comparison, but I get your point.
But you get what I'm saying, though. So, but it sounds pretty harsh. It may not be like the best comparison, but the thing is, this is what we agreed.
Yeah, here's I think again, I don't think that as a husband or a wife, I think that there are times when you have to. I think there are times when you say, you know what, yeah, this one, I'm gonna give in on this one. I'm not suggesting that this is the one that she should, because to Q's point, I don't know if this like her history of,
Right.
even if there is a history of this. To me, again, I think we get one mother and one father, and so I think that both people, when you have this situation, this is probably a situation where you might want to defer. But again, if you have a history of not doing that, then that's a different scenario.
Yeah.
If you have a history where you're honoring your wife or you're honoring your husband, and they say, "Hey, listen, in this situation, I really want to be there for this on my mother, and there's nothing else we can do to change this date." This is,
So follow up to that, because I completely, as a wife of 99 years, and I'm sure Candace can kind of understand as well, like we totally identify with the idea of sacrifice, okay? Sacrificing even the very, very tough stuff, the stuff that we said, the things I was mentioning a minute ago about the deal breakers, my hardcore about those types of things. There are times in our marriage, we still have to say, bite the bullet and go on and do that thing.
Yeah.
Is she still entitled to the resentment that she may feel after that sacrifice? Because I don't always think that gets talked about. We talk about resentment as though it's something that a person chooses to have based on just, I didn't like that thing. You know what I mean? But a lot of resentment is birthed out of sacrifice in love. And I don't think resentment is resolved because we just say, oh, we'll suck that up. That's a part of the game. So I think, yes, you're absolutely right. You do have one set of parents. That's all you got. You're supposed to honor them. You're supposed to do all of the things. I wonder if she still, because it's likely that if homie was hard set on Saturday, there's a very good chance sis canceled that appointment, is going to be standing next to him doing the thing, but she's not going to be the same wife that would have been supportive and standing up in that moment that she would have been had there been some type of compromise. But even if she puts on that brave face and shows up and prays and hugs all the people and cooks all the food and watches the kids and does all the things during the time, is she going to be given some space to feel a certain way about that after the fact? Or is she supposed to now sacrifice that as well? She's going to swallow that too. You know what I mean? And just be like, that's the contract.
And she's going to become an angry bitch.
To answer your question,
right.
So
you know what I mean? So
resentment, I had to look it up just so I can answer the question properly. So resentment is a complex feeling or emotion that includes disappointment, bitterness, and hard feeling. Is she entitled and should she be given space to feel that? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think that it is bad to have an emotion or to have a feeling about that, about anything, about you not getting what you want. I think it is the way that we respond to the resentment. I think it's the way that we like it's fine that you feel resentment. I think that's good. But what do you do with the feeling? Like if your resentment becomes abusive, then that's the problem.
Right.
Yeah. Very much so disappointed, angry, bitter, about the fact that you were looking forward to this birthday, to getting her hair done, and now something happened and you didn't. I think we have to put it in the right space. But absolutely, it's okay to feel that.
So you say disappointment, anger, bitterness.
Yeah,
it's levels to that though. So disappointment, let's deal with that disappointment before it gets to anger. Let's deal with that anger before it gets to bitterness. So I think like resentment, like she's entitled to that. And Anne will probably have that, like you were saying, Q. She needs that space. So he's like, there's gonna have to be a way to deal with that resentment, that disappointment, that anger before it gets to bitterness, because bitterness is at that point is ugly. And so
Yep.
like at bitterness, you don't want to hear nothing nobody got to say. It's all about my feelings. When you're angry, disappointed and angry, you're still willing to negotiate and have the discussion, and you're still willing to hear the other side when you're disappointed and angry. Bitterness, you don't want to hear none of that. It don't matter.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
should have did this, you were not there for me, and that's that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
I
that's how I see that.
I think to both of your points, if as a husband, fellas, y'all take this if you hear this. If you're in this kind of situation, or in a situation like this where your partner, and ladies too, where your partner gave up something that they really wanted, really desired, they sacrificed for you, then the response should be to do something
Mhm.
quickly to
Quickly.
to
Match that in.
that some of
Yeah.
the resentment. It's not going to get taken away, because I can promise you, let's just say, he says, there's nothing we can do. We're going to keep it on Saturday, but then on Sunday, we move everything to Sunday. She's still going to be mad or feel some kind of way because her birthday's on Saturday and had to be moved to Sunday. So, but the fact that he moved everything to Sunday and did some other